Some people carry it forward, some backwards, some on the head, and most of them with their hands. One of the most cumbersome part of windsurfing is the gear itself. And as beautiful as your equipment may be, you have to somehow get it in and out of the water.
The windsurfing season in Northern Europe is finally kicking off, and I want as many people as possible coming into the sport and staying into the sport. But of course, carrying the gear can be a bit of a hassle, but it shouldn't be, especially with the right tips and tricks, which I want to show you today. This tutorial is for beginners and intermediates, but I think pretty much everyone can get a tip or trick out of this tutorial and learn something new. And I would say we start right into it.
First, we want to differentiate between carrying the gear 1 when it's not yet rigged and 2 when it's rigged.
Sometimes you are parked far away from the beach, and the trick is to rig the gear as close as possible to the beach, ideally on an even surface and smooth surface like grass or sand. Right now I'm going to show you how to assemble your gear, so yeah, you can carry it easily down to the beach and rig.
With smaller gear you can carry both rig and board at once, but if the board is too heavy you might have to walk twice.
So first of all, you want to leave all your board bags, sail bags, etc. back at your car. Then you're gonna have your sail, you're gonna have your boom, and what you want to do is put the sail through the harness line, all right, and then through your outhole rope. So you're gonna take your outhole rope and put the sail in. The mast sleeve should be in front at the boom. So this is your mast sleeve, this is the front of the boom. You're gonna stuff it in here. Your boom is basically going to become a handbag. You're gonna do the same thing with the mast. Slide it through, and now you can carry your gear super conveniently in one hand. What you can also do is you can tighten the rope a bit, not too tight, so you don't damage your sail. So that way everything holds in place. You can also use your harness. You can also wrap it around yourself, the harness obviously. One possible trick is to take the harness and wrap it around. Rig is ready to go. Now we're gonna take the board. Right now I have my waveboard here, and by the way, this works with sails all the way up to 10 square meter. I've done this with big sails. The board, this works best with boards, I would say up to 120 liters. Now watch the trick. You're gonna take your mast base, put it on the board, place it wherever you would usually place it. And now what you want to do with the extension is you want to put it in one of the foot straps. All right? And now you can actually, this takes a little bit of force. You're gonna have to work it a little bit and plug it in. And now you basically have your second handbag. Watch this. It's a pretty cool handle. So right now you can take it like this. You may as well take it on the foot strap, but if you take it on the foot strap, as you can see, it's always a bit unbalanced. So you basically have a handle. You have your second handle here on the boom. And now you're ready to go to the beach. And if you have a bigger board, it's probably best to just carry it separately, just so you don't damage your board somewhere on the floor. But I'd say it's pretty handy. So now that you're as close as possible to the beach and on a nice grass surface, we're gonna rig the sail and get it down into the water.
Now that your board and rig are ready, we will take a look at different ways to carry your gear, both in hands or on the head.
but also be sure to subscribe to the channel. It's completely free, it'll mean the world to us, and you won't miss any more windsurfing content. And also we want to reach 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and you can help us get there. The basics of carrying the gear are simple. You'll want as much wind as possible catching underneath the sail, so basically the wind does the heavy lifting for you. That's why right now I took my slalom sail, which is a much heavier sail, so I can really show you how the wind works and lifts all this weight up. As you learned in the school, you'll always carry the gear at a 90-degree angle to the wind.
Of course, I'm talking about a windsurfing school, but it would be amazing if you were actually taught this in physics class.
Right now, the wind is coming from behind me, and the mast is 90-degree to the wind.
When you carry just a sail, you'll rarely walk straight ahead, unless it's onshore. But always slightly tilted. Be sure to have the bottom of the sail facing the direction you're tilted to. You'll grab the boom with your front hand and the mast on top of the boom with your back hand. When the wind is sideshore like today, you'll carry the gear walking sort of sideways. When the wind is onshore, you'll walk backwards. And when the wind is offshore, you'll walk forward. When the wind is strong, be sure to grab the boom closer to the mast, otherwise one tends to pull the clew up and you'll end up fighting the wind. And from this position you can also get the sail onto your head for easier carrying in light winds or for bigger sails. The easiest way to get it onto your head is by putting the sail upright. Use the same sail to wind positioning from before, but this time your previous front hand will go on the mast above the boom and the second hand will go onto the boom. Now you can slowly push the sail off the ground with your backhand. Place your head above the boom. If you're having a hard time balancing out the wind in the sail, you can grab wider. When the wind gets too light and the sail gets heavy on the head, push the mast arm and pull the arm on the boom. Generally, try to avoid too much pressure on the head so the sail doesn't stretch over time.
As you can see, the wind is coming from my right hand side, and if I close my mast arm, the sail is going to come down. It's going to create a lot of pressure because the wind is pushing on top of the sail, which is not very good for the sail, by the way. So you always want to keep little pressure on the head. And therefore, if I stretch this arm and open the sail up like this, the wind is going to catch underneath and it's going to become a lot lighter for me. So basically, if I push the back arm and close the front arm, I'm going to get all the pressure from the top. And if I do the opposite, push the mast arm, bring the second arm close to me, the sail is going to lift. And this is basically how you will balance out the sail, pressure on your head and different wind gusts. So in this step I will show you the holy grail of carrying your gear, which is carrying both the board and the rig together on your head. And obviously to do that you need to connect the board to the rig, and you're going to put your board onto the fin just like that, and you're going to have again the mast in a 90-degree angle to the wind. So the wind is coming from over here right now. You're going to bring up the sail, and very important, this time you're going to grab underneath the boom. Not on top like before, this time underneath. So you're gonna put the head into the window below the boom. So you're gonna go into your knees, you're gonna grab with the back hand to the back strap. So you're gonna be in this position, keep the back straight, and now you're gonna find the point with your head. So your head is gonna be the pivoting point, and you're gonna push the gear up. How do you do that? Well, you're basically pushing with your back hand up. You're gonna put pressure on the head, and obviously you're gonna come back up. It's gonna look like this. And if you have problems getting up like that, you can turn further into the wind. It's gonna be a bit easier, and there you go.
The crucial part in this movement is the right positioning of the head in the sail. This varies from each sail. You'll have to find the right point where it all feels balanced.
But how do you actually find the right balance point for your head on the sail? Well, let me make it pretty simple. If you're too far towards the bottom of the sail, the whole gear is gonna lift up, kind of like that. On the other side, if you're too far in the top of the sail, something like that, you're gonna get a lot of pressure on your head and you're gonna have a hard time lifting the nose off the ground. If you're too far towards the outhole of the sail, you're gonna get all the pressure like that and the sail is gonna come crashing down. And if you're too close towards the mast sleeve, your sail is kind of wants to fly away and you're gonna have a hard time keeping it on your head. So somewhere in the middle is where the right spot is.
If you move the board nose slightly into the wind, you'll get a better control over the gear. Look at your head as the pivoting point of your gear, extending from mast tip to board nose. The wind flows over and under your gear. If you position your head further forward, the wind will push the board nose up. You can enhance this effect by moving into the wind and pushing the board slightly away from you. This will increase the lift generated from your gear, so it's easier to carry the gear in light wind. If you position your head further back, the wind will tend to push the board nose down, which helps you to control your gear in strong gusts.
So when you arrive to the water like that, it's pretty simple. You just throw the gear in the water and you don't really have to care about damage. But when you come back to the beach, you're gonna have to be a bit careful because you don't want to damage your gear. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna bring the nose down first. So watch this. You're gonna create pressure on the nose. As I explained to you before, you're gonna move your head a bit back. You're gonna bring the board really close to yourself. Bring it in this position, squat down, touch down first with the nose, touch down with the fin, keep the sail in the hand and flip it over to the other side.
And this, my friends, is how you carry your gear on the head. Now, if you feel like this is too risky for you, there's still the possibility to carry both sail and board in your hand, just like this.
Alright guys, now you know all the different ways to carry your gear. It's time for you to get out on the water, and while you're waiting, be sure to check out all the other tutorials on this channel, and also be sure to leave us a comment below. Let us know if it has helped you, what you're struggling with. We literally read all of you guys' comments, so be sure to let us know how it's going. Also leave a like under the video if you felt like it helped you. And yeah, subscribe to not miss anything. And if you subscribe, I see you guys again next week. Bye.